Good morning, everyone. This is Elke Rubach from Rubach Wealth in another Community Spotlight episode. Today, we are very happy to have here Shawn Rosenzweig, who is a partner at SBLR, an accounting firm. Shawn, how are you?
I'm great. Okay, thank you very much for having me today.
It's lovely to have you. Shawn, as you know, we've been talking to very different business owners and different experts from many walks of life. And today we were thinking of bringing to our listeners and viewers a brief and easygoing conversation of what has been happening in the accounting and tax planning world ever since COVID started. But before we get there, I was wondering, would you mind telling us a little bit about how and why you became a partner at SBLR?
Okay, well, thank you very much for the opportunity. So SBLR was formed back in the early 2000s, where we had two small firms coming together, and we formed SBLR at the time. 5-partner firm, about 23 people. We were focusing on entrepreneurial clients in the small, medium-sized business area. We grew that firm up to about 7 partners and about 45 people, and that was a number of years ago. And then we linked up with a top 10 accounting firm here in Canada. And the idea was to have different services available for our clients going forward. As things evolved over the next couple of years, and as they do with sort of large corporate accounting type firms, they were heading in a different direction. Myself and 3 of my other partners decided that we were always focused on small and medium-sized business owners, and we wanted to continue to work in that particular area. So we kind of did a demerger, and we formed or reformed SBLR back in the fall of 2016. That was a turning point for us when we started. We had clients, we had some team members, about 16 people altogether. We had no infrastructure. We had to start everything from scratch. So those early days were like the Wild West, trying to put everything together and start to work with our existing clients and attracting new clients as well. One of the advantages at the time was because we had no infrastructure, we had to start from scratch. And that gave us the ability to put in place basically a total cloud-based setup here, and how we deal with our clients and how we work and manage. And that's been actually quite helpful in the transition that we have all had to go, and all businesses had to go through over the last several months. For us, because we were cloud-based, it was an easier conversion when we started to have to work out of the office and on home-based sort of services. And that is one of the defining, I think, attributes of SBLR, is that we're able to use cloud accounting technologies and other technologies and portal aspects to reach out to our clients and deal with our clients, on a go-forward basis. And it's putting us, ahead of the curve where other firms are having to play catch-up in these challenging times today.
And it's I think for you, for me, for anyone who started a business, whoever tells you that it's an easy track or path is absolutely lying with every single tooth in their mouth. There's the ups, there's the downs, but I think the most rewarding thing for me has been when you collaborate with other professionals and people who actually understand what you're going through and how you grow a business, and you ultimately build a business based on trust. And it's the colleagues you trust, the professionals you trust, you become friends, and they're willing to bring their clients, you're willing to bring your clients to them, because you know that everybody has their best interest at heart. And then you start finding, right, your community and how it works and how you can collaborate for the best. So I know, I totally get it. We too were largely cloud-based when COVID hit. So we really didn't have to stop. And I mean, only on the insurance side, the medical examinations or the medical tests were not being completed because nurses could not go out to take samples. But ultimately, insurance companies had to also ramp it up, and they relaxed the rules a fair bit and the limits and so on. So stuff was still going through. But I think everyone had a moment of panic back in March, April, and unfortunately, I do see a lot of businesses out, and I just think that this is only the beginning. So back to SBLR and the impact of COVID and the huge effect on small businesses, small and medium businesses.
Yeah.
How have you guys been working with these people, and how have you been helping?
Okay, I think one of the keys is are being proactive with our client base and actually reaching out to the clients. We've been doing that successfully, and timely information being provided to them. So we received an email yesterday from one of our clients in Australia, and they were complimenting us on the timeliness and the information that we're able to provide to them as the last several months has played out. They've indicated that they deal with accounting firms in Australia, Hong Kong, throughout Southeast Asia, and they were saying that, as far as the information, the clarity of it, they were extremely, extremely impressed with what we did. So we're very happy and proud to hear that and getting that feedback from our clients. And communication-wise, we're using all sorts of mediums, so social media, email, video conferencing, and I'll even hasten to add the old-fashioned telephone. It's picking up the phone, yes, picking up the phone and actually, speaking to our clients, but more importantly, learning what our clients' needs are and listening to what they have to say. And that allows us to determine what we need to tell them and what we need to tailor for them. A lot of times, and I've had several calls over the last couple of months where clients calling in panic mode. They're stressed out. They're making decisions or thinking of making decisions that are not rational. And part of our role is to sort of take the emotion out of it and sort of calm them down and help them make rational business decisions so that they can make the right moves, going forward. And I think that falls in place in, all of our business lives. I'm sure, okay, you see that quite often as well with your clients.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the clients we have for asset management, I don't think any of them was concerned. Maybe we got a couple of calls and quick questions, but nothing, we knew that there would be a correction. We didn't know it would be so strong and so soon, but everybody has been planned for the long term. And we also have everything backed up by a financial plan that shows people, again, as you say, our job is to remove the emotions from any decision on a topic that is very emotional, right? It's everything you worked for. It's the safety net for your family, your retirement. People want to make sure that they're not going to outlive their savings. And I think that's the biggest fear. People want to make sure that their kids will have a roof and food and will be able to continue their school. And I find that it's the same concern at any level of affluence. And that's what we do. We show, we project, we explain to them, and we give them the clarity and comfort to say, you know what, you're on the right track. Or if they're not, well, we need to correct the course, right?
Sure.
There's no point in just saying, yeah, you're fine, and then, well, we actually were not. So that's really how you and I started collaborating, right? With this joint person who had extra revenue and wanted an efficient tax solution.
Mhm.
So you can do this tax strategy, we can do the tax, the financial plan behind it and show it, and then, talk about asset management options within a corporate environment. So more hats, more brains working for one person. It makes it a much richer and frankly much more fun conversation
For sure.
in a time where what people really want is reassurance, right?
Definitely, that's important. And hearing the human voice, from their advisors is a key component. At this point in time, like email and social media are great, but sometimes it's that sort of human touch that the clients are looking for.
And I think that this was the first testifier for robo advisors. I know people who have done, moved their assets to robo advising, and in the middle of COVID. I mean, right now they're fine, and they can't pick up the phone and call anyone. They're like, okay, for emergencies, call 1111111, and nothing happens. So anyway, it's the power of human connection and seeing everything as a journey and not a race. I think it's huge and something we agree on, and why we can work together. Now let's give certain takeaways. As what would you say is the most important thing that entrepreneurs should consider in their planning?
Well, the old days, the main focus was on the income statement. And what we used to say to our clients was, okay, you grow your revenue line, okay, grow that. We'll take care of your sort of, bottom line on the income statement. We'll make sure that we'll plan tax minimization so that you'll pay the least amount of taxes, going forward, so that you'll have the largest amount of net income available to you going forward. That has kind of switched now. And the focus these days now has to be on the balance sheet. And it's looking at the aspects of the balance sheet. If we start with accounts receivable, a very crucial component. Businesses have to be on top of it. They have to, not only after they've done the work and made the sale, but now they have to collect. And in these challenging times, it is something that the entrepreneur cannot take their eye off of. They have to be on top of their receivables, all the time. The other key component on the balance sheet is the cash. And it's cash flow, cash management, crucial, these days. To the extent that we were recommending, and we're having our conversations with our clients over the last several months, that they actually do a cash flow trend. Some businesses, it would need to be a weekly, others a monthly or even a quarterly cash flow, just to see where they are today and then projecting that out so that they can determine what their needs are, going forward. And it's easier if they do need access to capital. It's easier to know that they need that access to capital maybe 6 months or 3 months into the future, as opposed to just at the point in time, and then they have to sort of scramble to put it together. My biggest fear and concern is not so much the period that we've just gone through, but it's looking out into the future, into the next several months out, what the effect of the economy is going to be on our clients. And that's still a big unknown. A lot of uncertainties, and things change very, very rapidly, so that if businesses have at least an idea on the cash flow basis, that puts them in a much better situation. I talked about the access to capital. When I'm speaking to various bankers out there, I'm hearing back pretty much in unison the same thing, is all the financial institutions are tightening the capital, and access to capital. So that's where the strong businesses, going into this economic time, they are going to survive going into the future. The ones that have sort of weaknesses in there, it's key for them to sort of strengthen those up, and that's by looking at their balance sheet. The other area that we talk about, and taking the opportunity now, because people are at home and they have more time, is to review their estate and succession planning. It's a perfect, I know an untold number of clients where they've actually dusted off their wills and started to look at that, their powers of attorney, and started to look at that and seeing if things needed to be updated. When we deal with our clients, an estate plan, it's not a static plan. It's always evolving. And as situations change, it needs to be looked at, it needs to be updated. And we're putting a focus with our clients now to do those updates. We have one particular client where we did a restructuring and an estate freeze a number of years ago, but now we're looking to do what they call a refreeze. Because valuations now have changed because of the current economic situations, now might be an ideal time to take a look and do another restructuring to actually put the business owner in a better light to pay less taxes, and that's minimize taxes. The other big concern, and I don't have the answers to it yet, is we've built up a fairly large, that's an understatement, deficit, in government, finances. They have to pay for that. And that payment is going to be the taxpayers of the country having to pay. So we want to be in a position, and business owners in a position to be able to pivot and change direction and plan for any new initiatives or tax possibilities that the government's going to come out with. So that's always, a challenge. And one of the ways that we feel for doing all this planning with the business is it's just not, their accountant talking to the business owner. It has to be all their professional advisors. It's working together, as a team to be able to do that. For example, if I've got a client now that has a year end coming up at the end of the month. Now's the time that I need to reach out to their financial advisors to determine if we should be doing any, tax loss selling. Now's the time to do it right before the year end to be able to capture any losses that will provide a relief, to the client's, corporate taxation at the end of the year. But that's crucial that all the advisors working together.
When I hear you talking, I find something that is really important to highlight is the business owner, first and foremost, as an individual or collection thereof, has to make sure that they make the time to have these conversations and connect with their advisors, because it's not going to happen magically. If the advisors are trying to do their best and they try to take steps and they don't connect, there will be money left on the table. And as you say, business owners need to work on their balance sheet. It's the same thing on a personal level. I think literally it starts at home. If, be it a business owner, be it somebody with a T4, an employee and executives making a ton of money, if they don't have clarity on their cash flow, you can come across trouble very quickly. And, COVID, as you say right now, the government stepped in. There's been money flowing like a, firstborn, first-year birthday party, and it's all very happy, but that is drying out. And I think it's now when reality will kick in, and that's when businesses who didn't get proactive and continue to be reactive, they're going to be wiped out. There's no question about it. And those who actually at least were forced to gain discipline in spending and revisited their balance sheets and their professional advice and reached out to their team, I think those are the only ones who actually have an opportunity of survival. Even on a family basis, we don't know how employment is going to look. I do see a lot of job losses in the horizon, and the only thing you can do is, work hard and be strategic and cut back on spending and hold on to your cash flow, because you can be asset rich, but if you're not liquid, you're going to have to start fire sales, and that's a really, really sad and bad idea. Yeah. So so I think it's personal and business owners, and we deal with both. But
Mhm.
when we talk to business owners, we want to make sure that first, on the personal level, everything's under control. And I agree with you. You know, they think that they've written a will and it's done forever. I'm like, no, this is something you have to look at every other year, every time there's a big change, every time, you know, there's a new child, a new business, a business less, child becomes an adult, an illness, a divorce, and not only sad, but happy moments too, right? You added assets, you started a venture, whatever, everything has to be tight. And surrounding yourself with the right advisors, that's the only way. And I think particularly right now, if people don't make the time, they're really not listening. And if they're not listening, the wave will come and they'll be wiped, period. It's unfortunate, but we are waving a flag. We are warning people. Say, you know, maybe nothing will happen, but at least be clear of where you're standing and what things happen, or, you know, how things are flowing. Spouses, bringing spouses to the conversation, bringing the next generation to the conversation. You know, their adult children, do they know what's going on? Do they know what the will says? Is it time? Let's, you know, people spend more time building their assets than teaching stewardship. And that's a big problem we find. So it's talking, and making sure that, you know, everything connects, and there's a clear action plan supported by the right professionals. So I agree with you. I think this is about to get really, I don't want to say ugly, but certainly I wouldn't.
Challenging times.
Yeah, yeah. But I refuse to use the word unprecedented. What was the other one? Unprecedented pivot, and I don't know the other one. With that, I'm like, okay, enough. But yeah. How are you advising your clients to save taxes now in this environment?
Okay. Well, I mean, I think the key, you know, areas that we're doing that, looking at the government programs that are out there, the estate planning that we talked about, you know, consulting with them and, you know, making sure that their own internal information, corporate-wise, business-wise, and personal-wise, is up to date for them. So if we talk about, you know, the government programs right now, just on a call yesterday with one of our clients, they have operations here in Canada, but they're based in India. And introducing them to all the government programs that were out there. We have every alphabet under the sun: CEWS, CEBA, CERB. But you know, it's again being able to take all this information that has come in, and it's complicated information, and then be able to parse it out to the clients and what they need. So this particular client that is, you know, they're based in operations around the globe, but they're based in India, and they have Canadian operations. It was, you know, introducing them to, you know, get the, you know, 40,000 interest-free loan that the government is now, you know, having out there, and teeing them up for that. It's the wage subsidy program that's been ongoing. You know, it's up to us to introduce it to them and bring it to their attention. And it's working with our clients in order to help them gather the information, either giving them the tools that they can do it themselves, or we can gather the information that they have and put together the application for them, either for these interest-free loans or for the wage subsidies that are out there. The other aspect is keeping the clients up to date with you know, various ideas and tax planning sort of initiatives that are available to you know, businesses. And it ranges the whole gambit. It's remuneration plan. You know, how does that individual get remunerated? Should it be dividend? Should it be salary? Should it be a combination thereof? With today's you know, changing tax rates, what's the best approach that the you know, the business owners and the individuals need to take? With regards to the financial information and dealing with the banks. What type of financial information does the bank require? If you have to move from, let's say, a compilation or a simplified notice to reader to a review engagement because the bank requires it for financing purposes, our job is to be able to move our client and their financial information into the sort of new reporting realm that will meet the needs and the requirements that the banks have today.
So Shawn, it has been an absolute pleasure. As you know, I look forward to continuing to work with you and your clients, the expertise, but more so, in addition to that, and at the same level, is the authentic and warm approach you follow with them and you have with them. It's really remarkable. So thank you very much for your time. We're looking forward to the future. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Take care.